This program is a presentation of Indiana University Instructional Television.
Today we're going to talk about understanding children's understanding. Psychologists and linguists are very interested in how people comprehend in general. And many people have felt that if we can observe how children understand their world, we'll have greater insight into our own understanding. Children are actively involved in comprehending their own world. It's almost as if they're born into a way of comprehending what's going on around them. They comprehend the activities, the movements of the people around them, but very early they begin to tune in to the language that people are using. They try to respond to that language. They smile, they turn their head, and soon they seem to even be understanding and able to follow directions and do what people tell them to do. This happens in most cases before children turn to be a year old. Their response in oral language indicates that they've done a lot of understanding of parents and siblings before they've started their own language production. We're going to focus a little more today on written language comprehension in young children. We've begun to realize that because our children live in a very print-oriented society, that they even begin to comprehend the uses and function of written language at very early ages. For some children as young as 2, but certainly for most children, before they come to school, they begin to understand many things about written language. Children learn what language is as they know what language does, and basically they're involved in doing language, in using it, in getting people to respond to them. They really use language to control the behavior of others at a very young age. They control parents, they control siblings, they ask for things, and they get the things that they want in the way that they ask. Not only do they learn the functions of language, but they learn how language is organized, the form of language. And by the time they're 2.5, they're beginning to follow the rules or the structure or the grammar of language itself. Children have to be able to comprehend language in order to be able to generate the language functions that they can at very early ages. We're going to look at and observe some children responding to written language. We're not doing this for the purpose of evaluating children. We're not going to look at children's language to find out if we can teach them at this early time. What we really want to know is, what do children do in response to written language? What do they understand about written language, and how do they handle written language? What is their response pattern? As you watch the children, I'd like you to think about a number of questions. I'm going to be doing the questioning with the children, and I'd like you to evaluate my questions. Do the children seem to understand my questions? Do they sometimes know the task itself better than they understand my questions? Some of the children, you'll notice, we have 2 youngsters, but you'll notice at least with the first youngster, that he will change his answer when I say anything that makes him worry about whether his answer is correct or not. So not only does he understand my first question and answer it, he begins to think that when I question his answer that perhaps it's wrong. Now that's an interesting response that children give us, and it's an important one for instruction. When you watch the first segment, watch where the child places his finger and when he responds to print and when he responds to pictures. What we've begun to realize is that children are much more aware of print in their environment than they are of print in books or other kinds of written material. We live in a highly print-oriented society. There's print all over us, print in stores, on street corners, on highways, at the movies, on TV, and children seem to be able to organize this and respond to it. Children learn early that print communicates and that print is different than pictures. See if you can find those two items as the two children that you're going to see respond to our print awareness tasks. Are you going to help me with some work we have to do today?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to flip over all these things over here, and then I want you to tell me everything that you see, okay? Or tell me everything about what you see, okay? What can you tell me now?
What is this?
Yeah, what do you see?
A cocoa thing.
A what? What is that? Tell me what you said, that's fine.
A cocoa thing.
Okay, how do you know?
Because
Because why?
I seen a cocoa thing that has that on it.
Okay. Does it say cocoa thing on there?
This is
What does it say? You're not sure?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's go on to the next one, all right? What's that?
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste. How do you know it's toothpaste?
Because on a package it says that.
And what is that?
Huh?
What is that?
The name of it.
The name of what?
Toothpaste.
Oh, do you know the name of that toothpaste?
Huh?
Do you know the name of that toothpaste? Or does it say toothpaste?
No, I don't know the name.
You don't know the name. Does it say toothpaste someplace on that package?
Yeah.
Where? Show me. Okay. Anything else you see there that you want to tell me about? What's that?
I don't know.
Okay. You want to tell me about what's next?
Yeah.
All right.
That's on the milk thing.
On the milk thing. Okay.
On the milk bottle.
Okay. On the milk bottle, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me, how do you know that's on the milk bottle?
Because
Because why?
I seen some milk like that and like that.
Okay. Does it say milk on there somewhere?
I don't know how to spell milk.
You don't know how to spell milk. Okay. But do you know whether it says milk on there somewhere?
Mm.
Not so sure? You want to go on to the next one?
Yeah.
That's fine what you're doing. You just tell me whatever you know about that, okay?
That picture's on soup.
On soup. Oh, how do you know that?
Because
Because why?
it has that.
Okay. Show me again. What does it have? And does that say something?
No.
Does it say something on there?
Yeah.
Where does it say something? Okay. Any place else that it says something?
Huh?
Does it say something anyplace else? Does it say soup on there?
Oh no.
You're not sure. Okay. Where do you think it says soup?
Right here.
Okay. What do you see?
Pepsi.
Pepsi? How do you know that's Pepsi? How do you know that?
It says Pepsi Cola.
Is that what that says? Now show me again where it says Pepsi Cola.
Pepsi Cola.
Very good. Now now tell me about this one. What is that?
That's I can't really say it.
You can't really say this one, huh? Can you tell me about anything?
I forgot to say something. Toothbrush thing says cold ache, cold ache, cold ache.
Cold,
Cold ache.
Coldgate. Okay, and where does it say that? Show me again. Okay. Ready for the next one? Okay.
I don't know what that one says. It says milk.
Okay, show me again where it says milk. Does it say milk anyplace What is this? Does that say milk?
This is flour milk.
This is flour milk. What's that?
That says how much does milk cost.
Oh, and what's Patrick and Quincy are 4-year-olds. Both of them already know a great deal about print. They know different kinds of things about print because their backgrounds and experience will have great influences on what they know and how they respond to written language. But they are already aware that print says something. They can point to print and differentiate print from pictures. Certainly they use color, they use all kinds of other information and pictures to help them, give them information about their context. But language always exists in a context. And so context does provide additional clues besides just language cues. One other aspect that's very important that children learn at this point is how language functions for them, what the purposes of language are. I'd like to share one example with you. One 4-year-old was sitting in the back of the car while her mother was driving, and Julie said to her mom, "Mom, how do you spell fourth?" Mother thought for a minute because she wanted to make sure she gave Julie the information that she could use, and she said, 4 and TH. When the ride was over and Julie got out of the car, she ran over to her mom and said, "Look, Mom, I wrote myself a note." And on the note was written the following. Julie said, "I wrote myself a note because I needed to know where to put that little thing in my sandal. All the time I either make my sandal too loose or I make my sandal too tight. And now I know, and I can put this away and remember, that I should put the thing in the 4th hole in my sandal." Julie, at the age of 4, because of her mother and because she is in a home where notes are written, has already learned that notes can be used to preserve material over longer periods of time, to help her remember things that her own memory can't remember. Children learn a lot about functions of language very early. I think we're just going to see Quincy this time as he responds to different language functions. Does he know how a newspaper, for example, operates differently than a book? What kinds of things does he know about books? Does he know how to hold a book? Does he know how to open one? Can he follow it appropriately? And what happens when you give him a newspaper? Does he know what it is? And does he know what it's used for? Let's watch and see what Quincy tells us about the functions of print in the written world. Okay, you take this book for me and open it so that I can read it, okay?
Sure.
Can I read it from here? Where do I start reading? Can you show me where to start reading?
Sure.
Should I start reading from here?
I think.
Okay. A little boy planted a carrot seed. Where am I reading? Can you point to what I'm reading? Okay. What do I do now?
Read.
I can't read anymore.
Huh?
I can't read anymore now. What do I do now? What are you doing?
Turn the page.
You're turning the page. Okay. Now, where should I read now? Can you show me where to read? Where do I start? And which way do I go when I read?
Okay.
Okay. His mother said, I'm afraid it won't come up. Now what do I do? Okay. His mother said, I'm afraid it won't come up. What do I do now?
I'm afraid.
Okay. What do I do? His father said, I'm afraid it won't come up. Can you tell me what this is?
A newspaper.
A newspaper. What do you do with a newspaper?
Read it.
Why?
So you wouldn't know what's going on
Why don't you
television.
take your finger out of your mouth and I can understand you a little better, okay?
So you can know what's coming on
So you can know what's coming on? What do you mean, what's coming on where?
on television.
Does this have something to do with television?
Yeah, it tells you what's coming on.
Okay. What about this?
And that is a newspaper too, but it tells you what's coming on too. I think it tells you what to come on.
On television? Okay. Does this tell you what's coming on television too?
No,
What's that tell you?
you can buy that stuff.
You can buy it.
Yeah.
Where can you buy it?
And you can buy peanuts at the peanut store.
Okay. There really is so much to learn about how children comprehend written language and how they learn to do so. Children learn about how to respond to written language. They learn the functions of language. And they learn another thing, and that part of the process confuses us sometimes. They learn to talk about written language. They learn to use the labels that they hear around them about language. They learn terms like reading, words, letters, numbers. Those labels don't always parallel their knowledge. So they can read and respond to written language, and they can actually read it like as if it were a symbol. So they look at soap and they say ivory. But at the same time, they might call those words, or they might call them letters, or they might call them numbers. But the interesting thing is all three of those are conceptually related to written language in some way. So although they're using language and seem to be confusing it somewhat, they seem to understand the category they're operating within. We're going to watch how kids use language about language. They've already done so. Another interesting aspect about this is that the more context the child has, when he's actually looking at the whole front part of the cereal box, for example, and he has a lot of context, he tends to respond to it in a more communicative sense. That's cereal, or that's Raisin Bran, or whatever kinds of responses that he might make. However, when the print becomes less contextualized, where he just has a word, for example, he might still know how to respond to it in terms of reading it, but he begins to do more school-like behavior, and so he starts calling the names and calling the letters. Let's watch to see how our young beginning readers use language to talk about written language.
That's Legos.
It's Legos. How do you know that?
Because,
Does it say Legos on there?
yeah.
Where?
No, it doesn't say Lego,
It doesn't say Lego.
but it is Lego.
That's Lego. Okay. Should we go on to the next? Okay.
That's on soap,
On soap, how do you know that?
because that's a package of it.
Oh, okay. Does it say soap on there somewhere?
If it does, I don't know.
Okay. Do you know anything that's on there? What are those things you're pointing to?
Words. These are words.
Yeah.
Blue.
Okay. Show me words again now. Okay, now show me blue again now. Oh, go ahead, show me. You started showing. Okay.
Soap.
How do you know that's soap? Does it say soap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you tell me anything more about that? What are those? What are those things?
Letters.
Okay. You know any of them? You know any of those letters?
This is in my name,
That's in your name? Okay.
but I have to put one dot in it.
You have to put a dot on it. Okay. What else?
Huh?
You know any of the others?
That's in my name, but you have to put a line down.
A line down, and then that's in your name. Fine. Okay. Anything else you want to tell me about it?
Just these are
Oh.
my name,
Okay.
and that's my name.
That's in your name too?
Yeah. Q-U-I-N-C-Y. That's Y.
That's a Y. Oh, is that your name here?
Huh?
Is this your name?
No.
No, what's that say?
Soap.
You tell me everything you know about this.
S. T. Does this T?
What do you think?
I mean, it's. No.
Okay.
Yeah, this is O.
Okay. Okay.
I know that one. This is stop.
That says stop? How do you know that?
There's no red thing, but it says stop.
It still says stop.
Leg O.
How do you know that says Lego, Lego?
Because it got different colors.
Oh.
I'm gonna stick with more of these.
Okay, show me where it says Lego, though.
Leg O.
All right. What is each one of these things called?
They call Lego.
Okay.
Stop.
That says stop. How do you know that says stop?
Because you have to can I think?
Sure you can think. You can always think.
It says stop because you have to stop.
All right. What are these things?
Those are numbers that say you have to stop.
Okay, do you know the names of any of those numbers?
A, B, C's. Lego, same with that.
Okay, now, what are these things?
See, those are the letters that do something.
Okay, what do they do? Do you know what letters do? What do letters do?
You sing from them.
You sing from letters.
A, B, C, F, G.
That's great.
Will you sing with me other time?
Okay.
Children certainly can tell us a great deal about how humans begin and learn how to comprehend written language. We need to get away from some of our concerns about testing because testing makes us worry that a child has to come up with a main idea or a single correct answer. If we can learn to just observe children with our knowledge of language, with our knowledge of child growth and development, then perhaps we can gain greater insights into the comprehension process ourselves, because comprehension is natural to all learning. One way you can do it is through that book handling knowledge task that we were doing earlier. Take any book that a child has, hold it upside down or sideways, and ask a child to open it. Does he open it appropriately? Can the child follow along with the finger when you say, "Where am I reading?" Some children will know that print functions in books to tell the story. Other children still think that the picture does the storytelling and will point to the picture before he points to the words when you say, "Where am I reading?" That child needs more lap kinds of reading experiences so that he can follow your eyes as you're responding to it. We think it's very important that reading has to be viewed from its functional point of view. If children begin to see reading as functional, they themselves will begin to organize the form, begin to use the form to comprehend even more. If we focus on the function of language, if we get the kids to be concerned about names of letters or sounds too early in their development, then they begin to worry about those aspects of reading and never get to the point where written language is personal for them, like it was personal for the little girl who wrote that little note earlier on the board that we indicated, or a 2-year-old child who said to his mother, the mother said to the child, write your name for me, and the child did like this, and the mother said, what's that? And the child said, Allie. And then the child began to do this, and the mother says, what are you doing? And the child said, that's Allie riding his bicycle. The child is already very personally involved with some kind of symbolic representation of himself and things that he's doing. I've worked with 5th graders, on the other hand, who can read their own, who can come to their own name in a book and not realize that their name is there. They can read their name and write their own name. But they never consider that written language is personal, is for them. They think that written language is instructional. And so they're the youngsters who can respond when they're asked by the teacher, tell me why the author wrote this book, after they've read a very fine story. And these are the kinds of youngsters who might respond, the author wrote that to teach me new words. Because that youngster is focusing on form. Written language does not have any personal meaning for that kind of youngster. And until written language has a personal meaning for you, until you're willing to comprehend the situation and get the knowledge out of the environment yourself, then there's no reason for you to really become a reader. And that's the significant problem in trying to understand readers' comprehension. It's not a simple response to questions. It's an important interaction between the child and the print. And the child has to know that reading is for him or for her. That's why we keep saying, or at least I've been saying, that in order to understand understanding, we have to know a lot more about how the child comprehends written language in his or her environment. These are the kinds of experiences we hope that you'll continue, and these are the kinds of experience we hope you'll see in the children.
X for kiss.
All right.
That's my little girl. My little girl.
Oh, marvelous.